What is up, Retro Maniacs? Welcome to the Retro Card Chat Podcast. My name is Mike from Mike's Retro Trading Cards, and I'm joined by two men that thankfully have never impersonated a woman to gain followers and scam people on card Twitter. As far as I know, their names are Joe Day and EP Eric Pahalik. How you doing, boys?
Great. I was going to say, I mean, I've done the first part, just not on card Twitter. I don't know.
As far as I know,
I will say I never thought we'd be talking about catfish on this pod. That's for our sister pod, where the retro guys talk about Catfish, the TV show, where we do a recap every week of the show. So
we do that. Yes. Mm-hmm. How's it going, EP?
Good.
I'm doing good. Skipped you, Joe.
Yeah, we skipped me. I was going to make a comment about how me not drinking for 2 weeks is starting to get weird.
I know, it's getting boring. Like
I've been dry for 2 weeks and it's getting weird. I had a dream about beer the other night. I swear to God, I had a dream about beer.
Is there too much clarity? Wow. Is there too much clarity up here? Like you're having trouble with just too?
No, not at all.
No,
I'm still dumb.
Wow. Okay, now EP, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. Still got some juice from vacation. Still energized from vacation. So, yeah.
Still can't believe he had a vacation.
That juice is going to have to last you for about another 3 years before they let you take another vacation.
Yeah. Well, I hope you guys have some juice because what a week. Whew, boy. Some weeks really nothing happens and others, wow, holy cow. But, you know, I'll jump right into it. PSA, Joe, your favorite place in the world. How long have your cards been there?
475 days since PSA has had my cards. 475 days.
That's a long time, man.
I heard a long time to have someone's cards in their hands.
But thankfully, they're now going to be offering an $18 a card national special for a 20 card minimum and a $199 declared value, so they can grade more cards to send out before they send yours. I mean, might as well get right into it. Joe, what are your thoughts on the 150-day turnaround time Collectors Club special for the national that PSA are running?
I really need a beer. I'll tell you what, I joke around about it a lot on card Twitter and for the pod. It's a nice little laugh point, but this is infuriating. Because they did what they said. They did what I said they would do a few pods ago.
You did call it, yeah.
And that's saying, oh, we're not going to start grading new cards until the backlog's done. And I asked the question then, well, what's that mean? What's the backlog being done mean? Nat Turner himself on Twitter responded to someone by saying, when all the cards are in grading. Well, that's fine and dandy, but guess what? It's going to take another 3 months after they get to grading for them to put them into slabs and then QAQC them 1, QAQC them 2, and then actually ship them out. So yeah, it's ridiculous. It's 475 days. Okay, that's fine. The thing that pisses me off the most is that they're actually charging less than they will be charging me for me to get my cards back. I paid $20 or $25. I don't even know. It's been so long, but I paid over $20. Yeah. Was it 20?
Yeah.
So with shipping, plus I had to ship them there, plus the shipping back, so they're charging less now. 475 days after they've had my cards, they're charging the people who are taking them to the national less than they're charging me for me to get my own cards back. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I'm stating it here now. I am never submitting with PSA again.
Wow.
Bold. Never.
We will hold you to that.
Now, if I randomly find a really expensive Tom Brady card, I will send it to Mike for him to submit to PSA. I am never, ever submitting my own cards to PSA.
This this doesn't have anything to do with the fact that Nat Turner now knows the name Joe Day and might be looking out for
wasn't it? Wasn't it?
It was,
That was
that was
great.
pretty fun. Yeah.
As ridiculous as PSA has been, at least Nat Turner is kind of entertaining on Twitter. I will say that.
Yes, he is. EP. So, as somebody who doesn't have cards there for the last, 2.5 years, how do you feel about this?
I love it. I'm gonna send some cards in. I'm definitely gonna send some cards in.
Wow. Like,
I know,
for everybody watching and listening, please understand EP never grades. So for him to make that statement and put it on tape is bold. I don't know. I'm not sure which one's more bold. Joe saying he's never going to use PSA again, or you saying you're going to grade cards. But yeah, how many are you going to send in?
Right now, 10, but maybe more. I think we kind of talked about this a little bit in text back and forth. But I have a lot of cards that kind of fit into the $18 is a good price, and $200, like under $200, like Allen Iverson rookie cards, like lower end Allen Iverson rookie cards, Kobe Bryant rookie cards that probably aren't going to gem, but they're probably 9s, 8s or 9s, and I think they all kind of fit in that level. I think so. I think it's like the perfect opportunity to send them in.
Yeah, I mean, I have to admit that I'm considering it too. I'm starting to look, I got a big CSG order back not too long ago, and I have a number of cards in there that were 9.5s and 10s that thinking about maybe cracking. I have a couple cards that are 9s that are worth quite a bit more in a PSA 9 that, I would end up having $30 total into the grading. But if, probably anything that I can get back a 9 that I won't lose money on that has a chance to be a 10, I might just have to take that. I haven't decided what to do with some of my wrestling cards I have laying around too. I have like a ton of that stuff, and I believe you have to separate them by 96 and newer and pre-96. Is that what it is?
Oh, I didn't see that.
I'm not totally sure on that. I did see that somewhere, but yeah, I mean, 150 days though. Do we think we're actually going to get them back in 150 days, Joe?
I think no. I think it's they'll be in grading. They'll be in grading at 150 days. That's my call. I'm going to stick with my guns with what I said before about their, using nice little, subtle hints that you'll get them back when they know you're not going to get them back. They're going to say they will be through the backlog, or they will be done in 150 days. That means they will be in grading in 150 days. I will admit, though, if I wasn't someone who was jaded quite a bit by PSA, this would be a great opportunity. I mean, I have some Marvel cards sitting around that, at the, $18 level. EP, even your press pass Brady's, I just did a video about, Brady cards under $250. I mean, those press passes, they're about $175 now. It might not be a bad time, to get those in as well. And then by the time you get them back, Brady will have retired for the second time, I'm guessing. The timing might work out pretty well for you. But yeah, there are cards I'd like to send in, and $18 is a good price. It's better than what I paid about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
I was going to ask Joe, do you think there's anybody, have you seen anything on Twitter anywhere, anybody with cards that have been out longer than yours? Or, I mean, is yours like at the top of the list you've seen?
No, I've seen someone who's been out since 2020.
Wow.
Really? And I want to say, yeah. I think it was December of 2020. I want to say it was a massive order, and I forget what level is like the furthest behind. It might be vintage, for example. I think that was the case there. And I've seen some that were in the previous month as mine, but they were like mine's a 23 or 25 card order. So I've seen people with like 50 card orders that are still a little bit behind mine. So yeah, every day I'll keep clicking the link. I'm not last. I mean, after that little text or after that little Twitter exchange with Nat Turner, I might be last, but
just move your stuff back.
You might be well beyond last. You might be last after everything else is sent in.
Yeah, forever.
Yeah, I was thinking about sending in one of the press passes, Joe. I have 3 press pass Brady rookie cards, and I was thinking about sending them in possibly, but I also feel like Yeah, but the thing is, like, I
send 'em
feel
all.
like I might send those to SGC instead.
I wouldn't
Um,
even at this point.
no,
Not for $30.
no.
No. I mean,
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm an
Why
SGC
pay
guy.
more?
I mean, why pay more? And Press
Well,
Pass, if you watch my video EP, I actually
well,
think Press Pass actually looks better in a clear slab. If you're going to display it, or even even beyond resale value, I think it looks better in a CSG or a PSA slab.
all right.
Okay. Well,
That's me
moving
saying
on.
that.
That
That's
is,
me
yeah.
saying
That's a
that, which is
bold statement.
all
All
sorts of
right.
bold
So
statements.
probably the biggest hobby story of the week was the fake autograph. I don't know what you even call it, but in 2022 Topps Definitive Baseball, I believe $2,000 a box. Is that right, EP?
Yeah, 1999. Yeah, I think is what it was.
Yeah, $2K a box, and there have so far at least been 3 of the dual autograph cards of Austin Meadows and Randy Arozarena cards,
Nice.
numbered out of 35. Thank you. I've been practicing that. And so apparently, I don't know, from the sounds of it, it sounds like all 35 might be fake. They we don't know what happened, but clearly the 2 autographs that are on the card are not these players' autographs. That is a definite in the matter. If you look at the pictures of the cards and the autographs, it sure looks like the same person wrote both names. Like the handwriting, like before I even read or watched any videos about that, that was the first thing that stood out to me. Like they definitely look like they were written by the same person. So not sure what happened here, but boy, what a black eye for Topps and Fanatics on a $2,000 product, EP.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many layers on this, and the first thing that I thought of was, it was supposed to be like probably a prototype or something like that that somebody signed to show to people, but to have it get in packs, like who knows how anything like that could ever happen. How does Topps let that happen? But one of the things that I also think about is, again, layers. Like, you think about everything that has to happen for them to print that card, for them to send that card to the athletes, for then the athletes to send it back, or whoever's in charge to get it back to them, and then to have that be inserted into the packs. And there's probably a lot of people, a lot of exchanging hands. Like card changes a lot of hands, and you wonder, if I don't know. It seems like it should never happen, but clearly it did.
Now they're sticker autographs, right?
Are they? I didn't think they were. They
I thought they were on card.
Are they? I'm not sure. Okay.
One of the ones, if you looked at it, I think it's the Meadows auto, goes off into where the jersey is. It seemed to me like it was on card.
All right. So I know Topps and stuff put out a press release and, said about COVID changing the protocols and stuff. But here's my question then. Look at the signatures. The same person we all think clearly signed both of the autographs, right? So, I don't understand how that's a COVID issue. That's a Topps authentication issue because, if it were 2 different players that both had friends sign for them, it got sent to one and he had a buddy sign it because he didn't want to sign, or a mom or something, and they sent it to another. But how else would the same person have signed both autographs? If they did, when Topps got it back from the one, they should have realized, wait a minute, that they're both signed. Shouldn't they? I don't know. I feel like COVID can't be an excuse for this, right, Joe?
The way I thought it went down, so I could be completely wrong. The way I thought it went down is they get sent to the teams, and they were signed, as teams. So are they on the same team, or are they different? I don't know if these players are on the same team. EP.
I think I don't think they. I think those 2 are. I think they're both on the same team. I've seen other cards from that set that have 2 players from different teams.
Right.
But
so I mean, that's the way I kind of looked at it. If they were on the same team, that the cards would just be sent. That being said, regardless, the the COVID thing, I actually kind of understand more for something like this than I do for Panini saying, or people defending Panini saying sticker autos is because of COVID, because that's a lie. But this, because they used to have quality control people, right, go out and watch people sign stuff.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
maybe not having people on the road to go and view the signatures, maybe we'll give the COVID thing a pass. But last time I checked, there's a vaccine, there are masks, there are we go to the movies. I get it. And maybe if this was a product from last year, I would accept that excuse. But a product from this year, I mean, we're starting to get far enough away from the largest part of the pandemic that I'm guessing Topps employees could go out and verify these signatures. I will say props to Topps and Fanatics for issuing an apology and taking full responsibility for it, because it wasn't that long ago before we found out Lionel Messi cards were faked, that Panini had been putting those in. They couldn't even get slapped by PSA because they weren't Messi's autograph.
Mm-hmm.
Who's signing Luka Doncic's cards?
His mom?
His mom.
His mom, I
you
think?
know,
yeah.
Lulu or
The
whatever.
rumor, yeah.
And then you've got
the Dak
what was
Prescott,
the other
Dak
Prescott
auto pen, yeah.
And then you had the oh crap, who was it was LaMelo Ball. People thought his teammate was signing them for him. So and that's just Panini, so and Panini pretty much would just said bummer, like, well, it's too bad, so
if
sad.
anything, yeah.
If anything, Topps at least came out and took some ownership of it.
Yeah, and Topps, they are offering a free box of definitive baseball and either replacing the card with the actual one or giving them a replacement card of similar value. So, they're giving you what you should have gotten plus another $2,000 box of cards. So, at least, stuff's going to happen. And, we talk about this a lot, like, stuff will happen, but make it right when it happens. Unlike Panini, that kind of acts like we don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean? And Topps and Fanatics at least took responsibility for it, and they're trying to make it right. And I think they've offered a really good solution for the people who might pull that card. Like maybe even make the product a little hotter for people that are trying to pull that card. Like, I don't know. I mean, I would have never thought about buying it, and maybe if it weren't $2,000, I'd go, you know what, I'll take a chance to see if I can get one.
Roast.
No.
Come on,
EP
Mikey
can do that. Yeah, EP's the baseball guy.
Yeah, I agree. I think Topps made all the right moves, 100%. Like that they said what they needed to say, and are I think going above and beyond the replacement side of it. I don't know if you guys saw any other cards from that, like that product, but there's like a numbered out of 5 Griffey Mike Trout jersey auto card, like dual jersey auto card numbered to 5. Like there's some really cool, great stuff. So hopefully this will make sure that that product keeps moving. One of my questions for you guys is, like, they Randy Arozarena, his autograph is the reason why I think that this was kind of spotted, because he normally puts like a little smiley face in the R, puts like 2 dots. So that's his a very, very unique signature. But this raises the question, like, without that very unique signature, like how many other of these, how often do you think this sort of thing happens with autographs?
Probably more than you want to realize, I would guess. I mean, we really don't know. We're just speculating, but I mean, when I know a lot of times they sent the stickers out to the players and the signers, and if they're not standing there, checking it out, like, how are you going to know? And going back to, what was it, our first podcast that we did, the review of the Michael Rubin interview,
I think
that was one of the things he specifically mentioned during that. Like, he didn't come right out and say that there are a lot of faked autographs on authenticated cards, but he kind of said it without saying it, because that was one of the things that they were talking about, was like guaranteeing the authenticity, and like that needing to be a big point of it. And just remembering back to that discussion now in the light of this really makes you wonder, like, how many lesser players that maybe people don't know their autograph that well are signed by somebody else.
And you have to ask too, what kind of responsibility are they putting on the players and the teams and the leagues, whichever league it is? I mean, there has to be some sort of, if they're paying you a lot of money to produce cards of the players in your league, I'm sure it is not cheap to get the MLB license or the NFL license, so on and so on. There needs to be some level of responsibility by the league to tell the teams, to tell their players, take this seriously, sign these cards. You're getting paid very well. And part of that is because of these card licenses. So I don't know, maybe take a day out of your life and actually do what you're being told you need to do for your job that involves making tens of millions of dollars to play a game. Just do it. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
And I think, going back to the Michael Rubin interview from a while ago, he also brought that up too, about wanting to be in a partnership with not only the leagues, but the players associations, the unions and stuff themselves to, make the players feel like they're more a part of this. And, so they will cooperate. So they will get the cards signed that they're supposed to sign, like that they share in the incentive to do so. And, really, when you see this stuff happening and you go back and, in hindsight and listen to what he was saying, like a lot of that stuff that he wasn't very, just blunt about what was going on. I think you can really read into what he was really saying now about some of this stuff. And, it makes sense to have the players have a vested interest in what they can gain if they sign the cards instead of, just throwing them out there and hoping that the right person's signing them.
As an aside to that, though, I will say part of that is a business thing, right? I mean, he wants the unions and the players to sign deals so that Panini can't then make unlicensed products. I would suspect. I mean, at that point, I don't think there would be, Panini baseball with no logos on, because if you sign the unions and you sign the players, and I agree with what you're saying 100%, Mike, but I think they already
did like sign exclusive deals with the players union too, if I remember correctly. So I don't think it was just with Major League Baseball. I think they got with the unions too. So I just remember him talking about it more in the terms of, doing the things that they need to do to help promote the products that they're being paid to be in. So speaking of being paid to be in products, that brings us to our final topic of the day. I am not a huge NBA fan, but there is a player just drafted this year, right, EP?
Was it just drafted, or is it in the
or is he next year?
I think next year. I think it's in, wasn't it in like the Bowman U or whatever stuff? I'm not sure.
It's in Bowman U. His name is Chet Holmgren, and tall, skinny dude. And apparently people that have been selling his 2022 Bowman U cards on eBay have been getting violation notices from eBay that they are selling things that they do not have the license to sell. Apparently, I think it was his agent had been contacting eBay and telling them that was his license, his likeness, his autograph, and that these people did not have a right to be selling it, which brings up a really interesting discussion, because I'm assuming that Topps would not have put his autographs in, and I don't think he would have signed autographs for Topps to be on his cards if he hadn't been compensated to do so. So this is a whole new problem, and all of us sell on eBay, something that's just bizarre to me, but I don't even know where to start here, Joe.
I'm worried I'm going to get sued by Spider-Man or something with some of the Marvel cards I sell. Jeez.
Right?
I was going to say, before you made the point, Mike, I was going to say, man, it's shocking that Topps did not pay this poor kid. They really should give him some money to sign these autographs. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Absolutely, yeah.
Dude, fire your lawyer. Find someone who can read a contract, because I guarantee you that you were paid handsomely to be on these cards. And I don't know if you just woke up from under a rock and have never seen what eBay is or what people do with sports cards. What exactly do you think is going on? I'm sorry, I don't know you, Chet, and I don't know your lawyer. I'm sure you're both watching, but which one of you is the dumbest man alive? We need to figure it out and then go from there, because this is absolutely ridiculous. Come on, guys. Stupid. Absolutely stupid.
I'm right there with you, Joe. Like, what did he think was going to happen when he's handed these cards and he's signing them, or even stickers to put his name on? Like, what did he think was going to happen to those? And I mean, the bottom line is he's signing them.
He thought he was buying a house. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like Bowman, like Topps is going to sell them. Like, so is he telling Topps, "Hey, going to stop selling my cards too"? Is this all like based on the NIL stuff? It has to be, right? Like, it's all like it's all.
Yeah, it's individually licensed too. It's not even part of like a group licensing thing. Like, he had to have, as far as I understand, he would have had to have had an individual contract with Topps to produce the cards and sign the autographs and whatnot. Like, I don't know. Like, where does that come from? Like, does he think that, okay, well, people are allowed to open a pack and get my card, but they're not allowed to then turn around and sell it without me being paid? Like, I have to assume that is kind of where their stance is. And I think it's crazy, but is it? What if other players start doing that too?
I mean,
do you know who the biggest loser in this whole thing is? Gonzaga. Because they produced this human who doesn't understand how anything works. Don't send your kids to Gonzaga, people, because I'll tell you, the education must be horrendous. But to your point, Mike, yeah, I mean, at a certain point, sellers, especially if it's big sellers, not just eBay, but just in general, I mean, at some point, he's gonna piss off the wrong person. You know, someone that has more than 500 feedback or whatever I have. I mean, he's going to piss off someone who actually has a big eBay store, and they could fight him on it. It's just, I mean, what are you going to do? Like, I don't think it's going to set a precedent, because I don't think anyone else is this dumb, but I've been wrong about that before.
But at the same time,
in the world,
eBay is just taking them at their word and pulling all the auctions. So like, there are a couple layers to this. Like, you have the Chet Holmgren and Topps layer. You have the what rights do somebody who pulls a card of him have, but then like you have the whole eBay side of it too. Like, they're just blindly saying, oh, okay, we're not going to violate your intellectual property, and we're going to pull all these listings, and we're going to threaten everybody who have been selling the cards. And, as an eBay seller for a long time, that worries me, like that they're just like, oh, okay. And like, I don't, what's the purpose of having that program in place to make sure that intellectual property isn't violated on eBay if you are not even going to fight it if it might potentially be wrong? Like,
because it's not even his intellectual property, right? It's Bowman's, it's Topps' intellectual property. If he signed the contract,
he's acting like it's his, though. So that's where his bone of contention is, that, these people can't be selling my picture or my autograph because that I own the rights to that. Where, typically if you license your likeness to a third party and get paid for it, they own the right to use that.
Yep.
So, but then again, where do we fall as collectors that rip it out of a pack?
I think it's very similar. I think this is going to end up at some point, maybe not with Chet Holmgren, but eventually, this is going to end up in the courts for a decision, because it's very similar, in my opinion, that you guys know about we all watch Stranger Things. We know about the Kate Bush song that went to #1 that was written 35 years ago, and she's getting all the royalties. Like, she's going to make $1 million this year on that song. And it's a similar thing where, like, yes, they can pay for the likeness, but then after the collector gets it, is that like where's the who gets the rights then to that? And I like, as a collector, I think it should be on the collector. Like, we should be able to do whatever we want with that card, but I think it's going to end up in the courts. I think it's a similar thing.
We're paying him for his intellectual property by buying the product. He's being paid for his intellectual property. Like, what's his end game here? Is my question. Is he going to start an eBay store and sell autographs?
Sell all
honestly,
the cards.
what? Yeah, like what's his end game that he's causing this big of a stink? Because one, it's probably got to kill any fan base he might have, because we all kind of think he's an asshole right now, right? So
yeah, everybody does.
What's his end game? I don't understand it, and it's like does he think he's going to be the first one to do this, and then everyone's going to just follow suit? Like I don't understand. This has never been done before, so why does he want to go out there and risk his fan base to just be a jerk? I just don't get it.
And where does it end? Like, if the player owns their likeness on a card, there is no card collecting hobby, because nobody can sell the cards. And like PSA would be in violation of it for grading them, wouldn't they? And BGS and SGC and anybody that does anything, like any of the retailers that sell like secondary market price, like, are they violating? Like, where does it end? Like, I really do think either he needs to just realize it and drop it, or there has to be some kind of legal ruling to say, dude, no, that's not how it works. But I'm not a lawyer. I don't really know. Crazier things have happened, but
his cards in Beckett, if they still do a Beckett guide, would be 0, because you can't buy or sell them. They'll just be an NA next to his cards. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. Wow. Crazy. Like, I don't even know. And I don't know. I guess our card set won't be coming out anytime soon, because I won't be able to control my likeness, and I don't want you guys selling me on the secondary market, taking all the money for it. So yeah, but wow, just what a crazy story.
I'll be sending you a stack of pages of stickers that we're just going to slap on those cards. We'll be set.
I'm going to have my mom sign them. So, but yeah. What a crazy week in the hobby. I don't know. We haven't had many like this, but
they seem to be happening more frequently, though, don't they?
They do.
Like, this sort of stuff seems to be happening more frequently, I think.
Yeah, people are.
When we literally didn't even go into detail about someone catfishing people on hobby Twitter to sell cards more than just a joke at the beginning of the podcast, it's been a crazy week.
Yeah, it's a crazy week. Well, boys, as crazy as it was, I think we handled everything pretty well this week, and I guess we'll be back next week. I don't know. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. I don't know. But hey, good chat, and we'll see you later.
Catch you later.
Adios.